Hey everyone, welcome back to the Smash Property Insider podcast. I'm your host Nick V, and with me today, as always, we have Akira.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, fresh.
It's very fresh out here. As you can see, we have a different location for today's podcast. We are
Out and about.
We are out and about. We are at a place called City Beach, which is in Perth, right on the beach. It is a bit windy, so either this is going to work or not, and we will figure that out later. Hopefully this goes without a hitch and you can hear us okay. But we are out on the road today, and we thought we'd kind of share a little bit of a market update as to what we're seeing out there on the ground here in Perth. Because it is still very crazy. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of buyers here in the market, and we'll kind of cover a little bit about, is it owner-occupiers, is it investors, is it a mix of both, and give you guys a bit of an update as to what we're seeing out there. And I think importantly, the value we can kind of deliver today is how you can navigate. If you're buying in a market like this, whether it's Perth or another market that's super hot, how do you navigate that as a investor in these types of markets? And maybe some tips that we've kind of gone through on our journey, because there's some properties that we picked up here recently for some clients, which are some amazing deals. And I think we'll kind of go from there. So
definitely.
We obviously went through a whole bunch of open homes in the last few days. Why don't you give the guys a bit of an update as to kind of what we saw out there, like just with the amount of people and what we saw with the agents, etc.
Honestly, it's insane. Like, you go to an open house, especially around the 500 mark, you're seeing lines of literally 30 to 50 groups.
It's crazy, hey? Yeah.
And then you're trying to walk through the property, look at it, you're just like, crashing into people.
Of like flies just going through there.
It's wild, it's wild. But you know what that kind of gave us a good indication of was that there are a lot of owner-occupiers out there in the market that you're competing against. Yeah. Rightfully so. Like, it's one of those things, a lot of lack of supply, I think, is there.
It's the biggest thing.
That is the increase of demand as well. Yeah. That plays a massive factor. Yeah. So yeah, when you're out and about in Perth, sorry, I'm stuttering. It's insane because you're going to these properties, there's massive groups. It can be quite disheartening and overwhelming because if you're an owner-occupier, you really don't feel like you have much of a chance.
There wasn't. Remember, there was a lady in front of us. She was actually just filming. She was there with her kids and her husband, and she was filming because she's like, people don't believe us at how many people are at these open homes and why we keep missing out on these deals.
Exactly. Yeah, she said that straightforward and straight up. So it's interesting because, you are up against so many people. The likelihood of getting the deal when you're 1 out of 50 people, it's interesting because your offer has to be there. Exactly right.
And I was just going to say, the likelihood of you getting a good deal that's on market in Perth right now, when you're competing with all of these owner-occupiers, is quite slim to none. And I think, kind of like we were chatting about off camera, is when we look at, people's borrowing capacity, most people can really buy in and around that sort of, 400 to 600 mark comfortably, right? Yes. So you have those price points, particularly here in Perth, because there's still quite a few, deals in that range. There's just tons and tons of people looking at that price point. And
to be fair, it's nothing flashy. It's no houses.
You're looking at 3x1s, 2x1s, very stock standard kind of properties, but there's a huge demand for it. And we went to property, I think it was
Victoria Park.
It was looking at about $1 million.
Oh,
and that was like maybe 5 people in there.
Not even. There were like 2.
Yeah, it was very low.
The price point, when we say hot market, it's just in regards to that specific price point that you're looking at, because it will vary in regards to your purchase price.
It definitely will. So I think the ultimate thing here right now in Perth, as it has been for a period of time, there is still a very high demand. There is still a very low supply, and what does that do? That pushes up prices in certain pockets of the market.
The brackets,
So I guess the next thing is, like, how do you navigate that, as an investor? Particularly, there's a lot of interstate investors that are jumping on the bandwagon and still want to buy here in Perth, and rightfully so. There's still some great deals out there, but I guess one of the questions is, how do these people navigate?
And I think that comes down to, having a clear understanding of the marketplace and knowing that you're up against emotional purchases. So it's understanding that you need to get your value for money, and, often when you're trying to buy these deals, if you're going in at low balling figures, you're basically
the agent's going to laugh at you. They're not even going to reply.
Exactly, and rightfully so. Like, I feel for the agents. They have so many people that they need to manage. You know, we saw those agents and just take a name number at the door, 50
It's just
people.
like, get him in. That's
and
just crazy.
We saw one agent across like 3 properties that morning, just taking details. You can't even have a chat to them.
I felt bad for him, to be honest. He was working hard, that guy.
Definitely. So I guess to your point in navigating how to get there is understanding you need to be competitive with your offer.
100%.
Understand that your terms and conditions, if you're going, you know, AWOL with them and going over the top, there are so many more purchasers who are going to be more lucrative to that seller.
Yeah.
So just be really mindful, like your terms and conditions play a big part in getting the deal done if you're keen on a property.
They do, and I think also just remember the human side of it as well. Like, just remember these agents, they're driving around from property to property.
It's so easy to get annoyed.
most weekends, a lot of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they're doing that sort of stuff. So just understand their time is quite limited. So if you're going to be calling through, which I highly encourage you to do, if you're going to be, you know, inquiring on a property, speak with the agent, but just know that they're time poor, and, you know, have your questions prepared, be precise with it, be short, sharp with it, get the value that you need, but also respect their time.
Yeah,
I think is really important.
That's a good point. Yeah,
because I think if you do that, the agents will see you very differently to most people, because most people don't understand that. Yeah. And I think if they can see that you respect their time, you're switched on, you're asking the right questions, they'll be more receptive in getting back to you. They might even be able to kind of, you know, bend the rules a little bit and kind of help you out.
And work with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're an investor out there, you're looking at realestate.com and you're looking to do it on your own, obviously there's some great deals on realestate.com, but I think in particularly markets like this where it is super hot, it is super competitive, there is an advantage to using buyer's agents. Mm-hmm. Now, I know we are obviously buyer's agents. Now, I'm going to give a very unbiased view
definitely.
On a BA, but where a BA really shines is in markets like this, because if you've got a good BA, guess what? They have deals that are off market, meaning, you know, they've probably gone out to maybe a handful of BAs. It's very, very low competitive deals than these deals that are on market.
Yeah, with everybody at those open houses and bidding. And,
exactly. So that's probably number one. I think number two, the second advantage of using a BA is their relationships with the agent. In fact, I think that's probably the most important thing, right?
That is the key
As we've
factor.
kind of seen over the weekend, is even if deals are on market, if an agent sees a BA at an open home or knows that they're interested, they are likely going to favour them a lot more than the average investor or average person walking in. Why? Yeah. Because from a sales agent's perspective, they can see the BA and know that they're probably going to get more sales from that particular BA, right?
Exactly.
Because the BA's got clients coming through, they're buying multiple properties in the area, and hey, the agent's going to get their commissions out of it, right? Quicker, exactly right.
And more painless from their side.
It's going to be a more painless process. I think that's really important. So that's probably the two main like advantages of a BA in markets like this. That's not to say you need one, but that just gives you a competitive advantage in these types of markets.
That's right. I think the other thing for it is understanding time in the market with BAs, if there are a good BA, is the fact that they do have access to those off markets and that relationship to make things happen a little bit quicker for you. Yeah. So in the hot markets, you'll find that sometimes once you get pre-approval, actually going through the whole process and waiting to find a deal, putting offers in, waiting to get the answer, and then, you know, that whole process of actually just landing something that gets accepted can take a bit of time. A lot of the time, at least it's my experience as a investor just before being a BA.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things where you have someone working on your side and vetting the deals and going through the numbers and the detail to put you in a position where, you know, you're getting properties that are specific to your criteria, one, and two, you're doing it more effectively and efficiently, I think, as well.
So, I mean, you kind of nailed it. Like all of those points, I think is the advantage. But I think one of the tips I would say for, you know, those guys out there that don't want to use a BA, which is totally fine. I think just don't buy in these kind of markets. Yeah, like there are
value for money.
The value for money's not there if you kind of don't really have the relationships and the deals. But there are so many other markets in the country right now that are performing very well that have way less competition. And there are other markets, for example, Melbourne, which everybody kind of shits on, and rightfully so, because it hasn't been great. Let's be real. But so was Perth, and so was Brisbane for a period of time. And you just look at the history of that, and it's now everyone wants to be there.
Exactly.
So you kind of just got to weigh that up.
You go when everyone else isn't. That's our kind of strategy.
Exactly.
It's Warren Buffett's strategy. It works.
Exactly right. So I think there's a bit of rain coming. So I don't know if we kind of leave. Bail.
No.
So we've talked about the Perth market. We've talked about how to kind of navigate that and what to do if you're looking to do it on your own, or maybe you're looking to use a BA. There's tons of value out of both options, really. And I think,
the main thing is respecting the agent when you're in the hot markets, and understanding.
Just in general, just respecting people. I don't know, property managers.
We do see a lot of.
We spoke to a client the other day, and he was shitting on property managers, and it's hang on, buddy. They I've spoken about it before at length on these podcasts. They are the bee's knees when it comes to property. Make sure you got a good one. Look after them.
Be humble. Be respectful to the agents. Know that there's if you're on the East Coast, especially, what you might be seeing on realestate.com is not a clear reflection of the current circumstance.
Exactly.
Don't listen to the news as well. I think that's another key factor sometimes, because that's also often warped. So
there's a certain agenda.
So I think it's just. Take your time when you're doing the deals, run your numbers, make sure the deal's right for your circumstance.
And I think also the fear of missing out, a lot of people have. I sometimes get it as well. And just kind of know, there's deals that come up every single day of the week. If you miss out on one, there's another one that will come up next day, next week. So don't kind of panic and rush to get in the market. I think it's super important. So
that's right.
I think on that note, there is a bit of showers coming here. So hopefully this podcast worked live from City Beach here in Perth. And we appreciate you guys tuning in, and hopefully you could hear us all right. Otherwise, we're going to have to completely re-record this whole thing. Which is not an issue. But thanks so much for all the support, guys, over I don't know how long it's been now. It's been quite a while.
I think 7-8 episodes,
7 or 8 episodes in. I'll figure it out once we start editing it. And look, stay tuned every single week, every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. We'll be dropping this Smash Property Insider podcast. So thanks so much for joining us this week. Until next time, guys.
So windy.
Take care. Hopefully we don't get blown away. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.